There's a plate full of hush puppy patties that Miss Glow made in the kitchen today. If you like hush puppies and you like patties, I think they look like a pancake, but she said they're thicker than a pancake, but they are really, really delicious. If you like hush puppies, try this recipe out. And it's very simple and easy. It doesn't take very long at all. And if you like these, like and subscribe to our channel. And we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Glow and welcome to Glow's Kinder Kitchen. Tonight I am going to be doing a recipe that we call hush puppy patties. And I must share with you that about a week or two ago I was going to do that particular video. But the recipe that I had in my head actually was not the recipe that I wanted to share with you guys. That's so good. And that was one of the reasons I started all of this. A lot of my recipes are in my head, and I need to start sharing them and writing them down for people. And I will share the other one later that I did make the other week, but I think this one is much better, and this one deserves to be called Hush Puppy Patties. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I'm not one that really likes to deep fat fry, so these are fried up kind of like you would do a salmon patty or hash brown patty or something like that, or a tuna patty. So anyway, I went ahead and I pretty much measured stuff out, and let's get started. The first thing I put in here is 1 cup of cornmeal. And for this particular recipe, I use white cornmeal, and the reason for that is it's a little sweeter in flavor than yellow cornmeal. So I'll go ahead and put that in. And then I have a 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour. So I'm going to put that in. And then to that, I'm going to be putting in 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And then I'm going to be putting in a 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. And also a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Like I've said before, if you don't have a level hand, I wouldn't recommend doing this over the bowl like I do. And that's kind of a scant 1/2 teaspoon of salt. We've tried to cut back on salt as much as possible. And then I have a 1/4 teaspoon, and a scant one, not overflowing by any means, of garlic powder. And then a 1/16 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Of course, by all means, if you like it really, really spicy, go for it and put more in. But tonight we're just going to do that. And also 2 teaspoons of sugar. And what I'm doing is I'm mixing all the dry ingredients up first. And when I do cornbread, hush puppies, or whatever, I usually use a wooden spoon.
Why is that, Miss Glow?
I just always have, and I've read where it turns out better. I don't know if it really does or not, but I'm just kind of stuck with that. And this is a 1/2 white, or actually yellow onion. And so I'm going to go ahead and put some of this in. I'm going to start off with probably a 1/2 cup. I'm going to reserve that and see what it looks like. We do like a lot of onion though. And if you don't like onion, by all means leave it out. It's your kitchen, and you guys cook the way you think your family will enjoy it. And actually, I'm going to add all this onion.
Superb.
And you can chop up the onion real fine if you want. Mine was just kind of a small piece thing. Sometimes I make it larger pieces, but there we go. So what I did is I mixed the onion up in that so it kind of coats it. The flour coats the onions. And I'm going to go ahead and just set that over here for a moment. And now what I'm going to do is I went ahead and I measured out 3/4 cup of whole milk. And I have 1 egg. And yes, it's room temperature. It's real important when you're baking and stuff to try and use room temperature eggs. So I'm going to go ahead, and if you don't, there is a trick. You can put a bowl of warm water, put your egg in it, and it should be to room temperature fairly quickly. Probably like 5, 10, 15 minutes, depending on, you know, the temperature of your room and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the milk in with this egg. And I'm going to beat this up. And some people use buttermilk in their hush puppies. I never really have. I've done it a few times, and yes, it is good, but you don't, from as far as I'm concerned, it's not necessary for hush puppies. So now what you do is you pour the milk and the egg mixture into this. And I usually don't pour it all in right away. I just start stirring to get everything combined. There we go. So after I get this all combined, I let this set on my counter for probably about 10 minutes, just so it all gets incorporated and kind of thickens up and gets all happy with each other, all the spices and stuff. And in the meantime, I go ahead and I warm up my cast iron pan. And once that's fairly warm, I put my oil in there. And I'll be back with, let me show you this first. You want to just make sure it's all up from the bottom and combined. So you can see how it is right now. When we come back, it should be thicker. So I'll be back in just a little while after I get my pan heated up and this gets to set. We'll see. Well, it's been about 10 minutes and my pan is nice and hot. And I'm going to show you how I tell if my pan is hot. See how that water dances in it?
And you can hear it sizzling.
Yep, you sure can. And I had turned it down to low because it was getting a little warm. And I'm going to go ahead and put my oil in and let that get heated up. And then just enough to, you know, cover the bottom of the pan well. And you can already see it starting to shimmer.
Shimmer and shake.
Now I'm going to show you here too. See how this is thickened up now?
Yes.
That's what you want. So what I do is I use 2 spoons and I take some of this mixture and I put it in. And it's not quite ready. See how that the oil didn't get heated up enough. Start almost there. That one there is starting to go around, but this one isn't. So I'm going to let this heat up just a tad more and I'll be right back. Hi, well our grease is nice and hot now. So we're going to go ahead and start putting this in. And I put usually just 1 spoonful. You can see how the grease is just at the right temperature. Whoop.
Perfect temperature.
You don't want to crowd the pan either. So we're going to go ahead and let these cook on this side. It'll be about 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, and we'll be right back and I'll flip them and you can see what they look like. Well, they're about ready to be flipped. As you can tell, see all the bubbles starting to rise on them? That's an indication that they're ready to turn.
It's a bubbler.
So I'm going to go ahead and flip this one over.
Looks good, Miss Glow.
This
Smells
one
good.
looks like it's ready.
Yes.
Oh,
Whoa,
messed
Nelly.
that one up a little bit. I'll fix it. This one. you get the cornbread like that on the other side, we'll just flip it at the end and that will cook as well. This was the one that I put in, and I'm going to pull that out, that little one. When you flip them, it doesn't take near as long to cook after they're on the other side. This recipe will probably make us about anywhere from a dozen to 15 of these little patties. And I always put them on a wire rack. We'll be right back and I'll show you what they look like as we're pulling them out. Well, they've been cooking, and I flipped them again because of when I had originally flipped them and that cornmeal had gotten on the side that was already cooked. And so you can see how that's already browned up. Nobody will know the difference.
Looks good, Miss Glow.
So I'm going to go ahead and finish taking these up, and I'll be putting another group of them in here, and I'll show you the finished product in just a little bit. Well, this is the last batch. So there's actually 3 batches that go in with this recipe, and doesn't take long at all, as you can tell. And just last bit. So I just wanted to show you, and we'll be back as we're flipping, and we'll see you back in a minute. I'm flipping these for the last time. When you start seeing, like this one right here, see how that grease is popping up through there?
Yes.
It's time to flip. And I have not added any other grease to this pan at all.
So any grease left.
There we go. This will be about another minute and a half on the other side, and they'll be done. So I'll see you back then. Hi, well, we're done. I was going to show you what they look like on the other side of this last batch. I'm going to go ahead and pull them up, and we'll count them and see how many we have. As you can tell, there wasn't much grease at all used for this. And don't they look like little patties?
Patties or pancakes.
So anyway, this is what they look like. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. But there's a couple of different sizes of them. But anyway, this is a great way when you are cooking and you don't want to get things soggy to use one of your cooling racks in a pan. And you can put this in the oven. I'm going to be cooking some fish here in a few minutes. So I'm going to put this in a warm oven and it'll be perfect with our fish. We'll see you back later. Hi, well, here's one of the patties that we made. And I just wanted to share with you, my mother was well known for her hush puppies, and she deep fat fried them, and I must say hers were the best. But these are patties instead of the real true hush puppies. And let me just cut it open and we'll see what it looks like.
Smells good.
I'm going to take a bite. And they do crunch like a hush puppy. They're just not, you know, like a puffball like a hush puppy. But they are very good. And like I said, you can add more of the cayenne pepper to it. You could add jalapenos to it, which we've done. But this is just a really good recipe. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. And if you have, please like and subscribe to our channel. We would really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. Bye.